Hey there, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of Belonging Life. My name is Demetrius Colbert. I happen to be the host of this particular program. Super excited having the opportunity to talk to a young man who I met on a platform where I used to do some coaching and teaching. His name is Brett Sullivan. Super excited about having him here. Brett and I, full disclosure, we're having a conversation. I wanted to get some insight from Brett, and then I realized that, he's exactly who I want to talk to and get some answers from. Brett's an encourager too. So I've been looking at a lot of his TikTok videos and I love what he's doing in regards to how he encourages people. He kind of stops in as almost like that guy who you want to check in with real quick and say, yeah, let me see what this guy had to say today. That's going to be Brett. He's really dropping some good, knowledgeable things on there, things that will help you. And so I want to also encourage you to follow him. What I'm going to do is on this video, of course, we'll link Brett's information to you where you can find him and see him and follow him. But the thing that I had for Brett was he has a great story, which he told me in private, but I'm not going to ask him to repeat that. I want to talk to him about something further, which is about Brett. Let's go right back into what I was asking you about your journey so far with Jesus. So,
Mm.
if you can circle back to that real quick, and let's just talk about that, how you came to your current faith right now. So, if you can tell me that story briefly, that'd be great.
Okay, so yeah, my faith started 2023. I was at a real low point, just always looking back in the past. So there's just one random night where I asked my grandfather if I could go to church with him that weekend. And of course, he was very happy to have me. My parents didn't grow up in the faith, so I didn't really have a godly role model around. So I had my grandfather and I asked him, and ever since then we built a real close relationship as well. But ever since, 2 years ago that weekend, I've been in church every weekend that I could. And man, the faith, the community and Jesus has really moved my life personally. And obviously it takes application, self-application. It's not just a believe and then things all get better. And things still suck sometimes too. But that's just part of it.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, just transformationally, the activities I was doing, not necessarily drinking and smoking or anything like that, but treating women poorly, respecting other people, and kind of the biggest thing probably is the pride and ego that I had before I became a follower of Jesus. I was probably one of the most narcissistic people that I could ever know.
Mm,
I thought very highly of myself in not
mm,
very good ways. I always thought, I was bigger, strong, not bigger, but like I was like, oh, this guy's bigger than me, but I could still, just randomly, just I could take him, or I
mm-hmm.
was better than him, and I wasn't really good at anything. Like it's not like I was speaking truth; I was just kind of delusional. So that's a big thing. And I also lack of self-respect. Um,
Mm,
so I just kind of didn't, you know,
yeah.
unknowingly, I
Yeah.
didn't really have that self-respect.
Man, so these are things that I don't know about, Brett. Again, even though we were on the same platform, there's a couple of things I'd like for you to speak to that you just said. The first thing you said was that it's only been a couple of years, pretty much 2023. So I'd like for you to tell us about what it's looked like for you over the past couple of years. We were kind of leading into that in our conversation before this. So I'd like for you to tell me like where you're at, what that looks like, and then I want you to jump into the narcissism a little bit because I think that we
Okay.
can help some people with that. But let's answer the first question first, and that is, again, in the past 2 years, what does it look like for you? Like where are you at? How would you define that? What does that feel like for you?
So I was very lucky, I'd say. There's a older man at my church that's very bold. He runs a young adults Bible study, a young man specifically, and pretty early into my church days, he came up to me, very happy, very energetic at his old age, and he loved to talk to me. He gave me one of the best things that I could have ever asked for that I didn't ask for. He gave me a life application Bible, which is very, if you don't have one, I highly suggest it. It's got the scripture and then it's got modern day applications and it's got connections to other scripture. It's a great thing. So if you don't have one, I highly suggest it. But he specifically, he invited me to that Bible study, and I was one of the people there that was very hungry to learn. So I would get called on a lot, and I was who they called like the guy that would get everybody distracted because we would be talking like a question would be, I don't know, some random question, but then I would get a thought and I'd like have a question that was related but not related at the same time, and I'd ask
Yeah,
that, and we end up talking about it for the whole time, and then we got to redo the chapter next week. Um, so yeah, that a big thing is a thirst for knowledge where I'm at right now. I'm seeking the truth. And I think I found the truth in Jesus, but I don't want to be complacent. I want to keep searching, keep studying, keep learning, as
yeah,
much as I can. And I need to be better with that too, because I know
yeah,
I don't get in as much as I should, as much as I can, at least, especially right now in between jobs.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's the biggest thing where I'm at right now is the just hungry for knowledge and learning and growth.
No, I love that, man. I think that's fantastic. I also, you know, appreciate the fact that you realized that you needed something greater, right? There was something else that you needed. Like you were like, man, I was just kind of living, kind of doing my thing, so on and so forth. And you realize like, hey, I need something greater, but these past 2 years have created this hunger in you, which is that excites me, right?
Hmm.
As a believer, I just love it when I hear people say, "I want and need to learn. I need to learn more." I think it's one thing to just slide into Christianity and then just kind of kind of ingratiate yourself into, oh, hey, we go to church, we lift our hands, we sing praise worship songs, but
Hmm.
no, there's actually more. So the ideal of there being more, right? Something deeper, something broader, something more available to us, to live this out and to make sense, to make this life make sense. I think is really important. So let's jump over to what you said though, because I think this is going to really also help some people. You said in this space prior to that you said you felt like you were the biggest narcissist, but you said you weren't really good at anything.
Hmm.
But what do you think that was for? Well, where was that coming from, in your opinion?
Um, well, now looking back, uh, probably I always wanted to be successful. Obviously, I think everybody wants to be successful, but success to me was not just being, happy or something. It was being better than everyone around me.
Mm,
Because it was like if this guy's faster than me, because I played sports, I did football and some boxing. So like if this guy's faster than me or this guy hits harder than me, then I'm not successful because that's what success could be. And then once I got that fast, then it would be a different metric. And then obviously it's never ending until you're the fastest person in the world, which is just not going to happen. So I think that was one of the things that I would be narcissistic when I was around people that I was confident against. Like if I was
mm,
if I was with some friends that I was like, or family members even that like, oh, I knew, I had a one up on them or something, then I would be very cocky, very narcissistic. But then when I would be around people that were, stronger than me, faster than me, better than me at certain things, then I would be in a way jealous. Because I always acted like I was a very hard worker, but I really wasn't, to be honest with you.
yeah.
So I would be jealous, and I would convince myself that I'm working harder than this person, but they're just blessed and they're just gifted, which was not very. It wasn't very common that that was the case.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't even remember what the question you asked was, to be honest with you,
No,
but
no, about the narcissism, about why you felt like you were. You're answering it. Why you felt like
um,
you were narcissistic or needed to be narcissistic in that time. So you did answer it. And I appreciate that. So somebody is listening to this. There's a
mhm.
guy who's going to see this clip, I promise you. Because I'm gonna make sure this clip gets out for sure. What would you tell them right now about that type of mentality and attitude, what would your thought be to help them out?
hmm Um, I mean, the first thing that kind of came to my mind is that it's going to kill you. It's not going to build you up. It's not going to grow you in any way. It might, I mean, you might see a minor increase in one small attribute, but at the grand scheme of things, that's going to be the death of you because you're always going to be focused on, oh, this person's better than me at that. This person's better than me at that. And so you either become so consumed at what you're good at that it becomes who you are, or so consumed with what you're not good at it that it also that becomes who you are. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So there's no
Wow.
in
It's good.
between. It's either you're very depressed because you can't be what this guy is, or you're overly into yourself because you are what these guys can't be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Um, that come from your childhood in any way, shape, or form? Or you felt like that's something that you needed to do? Did you feel like you were missing something there? And
Um, to be honest with you, I'm not even sure. I was a pretty lucky child. We didn't grow up in like the greatest neighborhood, but we live in Iowa, so there's not too many bad things that go around, especially when I
hmm
was growing up.
hmm
So like, we we had a good life.
Yeah,
I can't complain about nothing like that. I just think I don't know. I was overcome by what I wanted, but
yeah.
I didn't know what I needed.
Now that right there is that's pretty powerful. I love that. And I appreciate you sharing that either. You overcome what you wanted, but you didn't know what you needed. Is this a problem, do you think, with other younger people as well? That this is a mentality and a mindset that's toxic and leading people down the wrong path?
Oh, 100%. And even the people that are, at the top of the game, like the
Yeah,
people that are really that good, um, they, like I said, that'll do the same thing. It'll consume you. Um, because I'm not gonna act like I was just a bum.
yeah,
Like there
yeah.
was things that I was good at, and those things, like I said, they
Sure,
would consume me.
sure.
Um, and so there's no end. Um, and yeah, I don't even know. To be honest with you, it's not worth it.
But we're seeing it, and it's kind of all over social media too, right? In various different ways, right? It's out there.
Mm,
It's insinuated, even if it's not directly said, right? That you're less than me, I'm better than you, I could do more than you, different things along those lines, right? I would, I. It's interesting you were saying that because I see that, and as an older man, a middle-aged man, I see that myself, Brett, with a lot of young people. There's a lot of cockiness and a lot of arrogance. Um, you said that your goal is to learn. Like you're like, no, I need to learn. So when you put Jesus up against who you used to be and where you used to be, there's somebody also that's going to be watching this part of it, and they're going to ask the question, like, why should I come to Jesus? What difference is he going to make in my life? How is he going to help me achieve the stuff that I think that I need? Or do I
mhm.
have to abandon all that? Because you have these aspirations, which I'm assuming you still have aspirations.
Yeah.
But how do you balance the aspirations you have and now walk in a different heart posture um, with Jesus?
Okay. Yeah, that's a really good question. So I mean, most importantly, you don't have to abandon any aspirations that you have. You just have to not let them be your framework, what was it, the foundation. They can't be your foundation.
hmm
So for me growing up, I always wanted to go to the NFL. I'm a pretty unathletic 5'10" white guy, so my odds weren't very high, but that was always my foundation growing up. So once I realized that that's not going to happen, everything else fell apart. You know what I mean? But with Jesus, I could have the aspiration, and I mean, I don't have the same aspiration to go to the NFL, but for the
hmm
example, with Jesus as my foundation, and the NFL is like a counter product. If I don't make the NFL, my life is fine. I'm good. Not, maybe a branch falls, but the tree is still growing. You know what I mean? So I mean, that's the simplest way I think I could put it is just you don't have to abandon anything. You just have to shift where it's at.
Yeah, I really like that. I also think that too, if playing in the NFL wasn't the key, if you still had aspirations, you never know. Um, Being an executive, working for an NFL team,
Hmm.
you live nearby Detroit, Chicago, so you're close to these NFL teams, being in the Midwest, and so it would appear to me that the opportunity for you, even Kansas City, being over in Missouri, it would appear to me that there would be opportunities for you in any way, shape, or form that you could still have the opportunity to do something in the NFL, even if you weren't necessarily playing there. I love what you said. We just have to shift it. Like the dream, maybe the dream has to look differently than I
Hmm.
initially thought it was. But I really like that. A lot of people think that they do have to give up the dream, like you don't want to star in movies with people who don't have their clothes on. Basically, let's give that dream up.
Yeah.
If that's what we're
Hmm.
talking about, right? Let's give that dream up for a better dream, right? To just work in different type of movie setting. But we don't want to do those kind of movies. But I think that it's really important, man, that somebody like yourself has the opportunity, Brett, to share your journey with other people. You and I were talking it again. You don't need to tell this story, but you and I were just talking about just some of the earlier years and some of the choices and decisions that you had made. And you're like, man, these aren't the choices and decisions I want to be making. And then through a series of one kind of came back, kind of bit you,
Hmm.
in a pretty significant way. Um, Somebody out here, man, who's just kind of living for themselves and are just doing it. Like, what would you tell them? Because they kind of don't have any guardrails. They kind of
Hmm.
don't have maybe a direction. They're just kind of living by the seat of their pants, if you will. They're just like, hey, I'm just doing what I do today. And, the chips will fall where they may. And we'll just go. What would you say to them?
So I give them. I have two real life examples of my life, and then one example that I actually just remembered yesterday.
Okay.
And I'll be quick with them. So
No, take your
yesterday
time.
I was watching a Football Life chat. It was a Chad Johnson episode. So that's basically where they go over their career, where they came from, how their career went, and it's like a documentary or autobiography because
Mm-hmm.
they're involved in it. I suppose I don't know. But at the very end, so he actually retired because he got arrested. He had a 1 year deal with the Miami Dolphins. So he wanted to play, he grew up in Florida, I'm pretty sure if I remember right. So he wanted to play for the Dolphins. But he made a decision prior, with his wife. They got in an altercation and I don't know the details, but I know he struck her and he ended up going to jail, prison,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was, and he had to retire. And so at the end of the episode, that was his biggest thing is no matter what you think, your actions are gonna, they're gonna come back at you. You know what I mean? And then
Consequences.
a couple real life examples that I have, because the easiest way you can do it is to show you that it happens. It's true. So there was one relationship I was in, um, and it was, there was nothing wrong with the relationship. It was while I was serving God still. It was when I would join the faith. And I actually lost that relationship because I couldn't stop looking at pornography. So my partner very understandably had a problem with pornography.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at it and I couldn't stop looking at it. And she had told me, if you keep looking at it, then I can't be in a relationship with you. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, all right, I understand, I get it. And I went back to it one more time. And, thankfully now I'm happy it happened now because I'm in a happy relationship with a beautiful woman.
Awesome.
But at that time, that sucked because I lost a person that was very important to me.
Yeah.
Not because, for any unjust reason, because I made the choice living in sin and I sacrificed what was more important because what? Pornography is nothing. It's not important. It has no importance to anybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I lost an important relationship at the time because of the decision that I made. And then another more serious one is like I told you earlier, I
Yeah,
was I was before I was saved, I was sleeping around and it came back to bite me. And there was some things that were said about me, that were not true.
yeah,
That I sexually abused somebody. That didn't
yeah,
happen. Could you give me 1 second real quick?
yeah,
I'll be right back. Sorry.
yep, yep, no worries.
Home from lunch break. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
trying to. I just didn't want to have any background noise or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. No, no worries. No
Well,
worries.
now I gotta figure out how to set this up in here. Um, I'll figure it out 1 second. Got something. Yeah, maybe this will work. I mean, hey, it's kind of crooked, but whatever. That'll be good for now.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. So you went through this process where you had this really bad encounter. You gave these two real life examples. You gave the one of Ocho. Um, when people feel like they're just free, man, to just do whatever, and that they believe that they're okay with the potential consequences.
Mm,
Really, deep down inside, after you had these encounters, these experiences, you understand that those consequences are like they're pretty serious. They're real, right? These
hmm
are things that you got to really say to yourself, like, hey, you know what? I got to really be paying attention to what I do and how this ultimately can impact your life. The other one could have really impacted you to a point of really putting you in a really bad situation, right? Even
hmm
having to present yourself in a certain way towards people and not being able to be around other people, right? If things like that are true. And so we have to have a sense of urgency, right, for this to tell people like, hey, you got to really consider your actions, what you're doing, and the
hmm
way that you're doing things. So in the end, you would tell somebody what about the consequences that are real life consequences? Like, what would you say? Like, you need to be paying attention to these.
Yeah, so the first thing I'd say is that the consequences can be far more than you ever expected. I would never expect one to lose a relationship because of that, and the two have such serious things be brought up. Even if, thankfully it wasn't, a very serious thing. They were just rumors that were spread around the school at the time. So I'm very happy that neither of those things or that thing did not become very serious. But it still was a very real thing in my life that hit me like one, I can't live like this because what if this happens again? And
Mm,
two, I never expected that, you know, living in sin, I didn't know it at the time, but living in sin could have such a drastic impact. I thought, oh, maybe, I mean, STDs are real. I thought maybe that was probably the worst thing that could happen. But I honestly think, especially if it was a real trial and someone really, went to prison because of something they didn't do.
yeah.
Um, it's very real. That's the
Yeah,
biggest thing.
it's
It's very
yeah.
real. It can be much bigger than you think it could be.
Yeah, 100%, man. I feel like young men in particular, um, we're trying to find freedom, right? Everybody wants to
Mhm.
be free.
Yeah.
I know I'm putting you on the spot, but what is freedom? How do you define freedom?
Shoot. Well, the simplest way I could define freedom today would be Jesus.
Hmm.
Um, because there's no pressure on me to perform in any sort of way because obviously he paid the price. Um, but in a more I don't want to say complicated way, but in a deeper way, freedom is just the lack of stress, the lack of what's a word I could use here? Similar to stress. I don't know. It's just I think that kind of encapsulates it fine for me. It's just a lack of stress, a lack of worry.
Yeah.
It's just a sense of peace. There we go.
Yeah. So when people are out there, Brett, looking for freedom, they're like, no, I can't be tied down. I can't be tied down with the religion. I can't be tied down with Jesus. I need to be free. Are are they free?
Oh man, they're being held captive.
And and in their minds, they're like, no, you telling me that I can't sleep with whoever I want to sleep with. I can't drink whatever I want to drink. I can't smoke whatever I want to smoke. I can't say and do whatever I want to say and do. How would you combat that when you say no, Jesus? When you say no, Jesus, they're like, no, man, that started wars in the world. There's religious wars, religious persecution. There's hatred in there. There's bigotry in this. There's this, that, and other. What are you saying to that person when they
Yeah,
believe
so
that their life is freedom?
you know Sean and Dion.
Mhm.
So there's something that Sean said in a call with Dion a, a couple weeks ago that was very powerful to me is that a lot of people treat the Bible as a rule book. So like you said, they'll see, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. And I mean at face value, if that's what you need to stop living in sin, to see it as a rule book, then at that point, follow the rules. But there's not a single thing in there that the Bible will tell you not to do. That if you really look at and weigh the pros and cons, look at it and say, "Oh, is this smart or is this unsmart?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not a single thing like sleeping, having sex before marriage. Obviously, kids out of wedlock. Is that what that's called? I don't even
Hmm.
know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, STDs, unsafe sex. There's a lot of things that could come. It's not just a rule to make you feel imprisoned. It's a rule that'll bring more peace to your life. And then you know, other things, drunkenness.
Yeah.
Drunkenness is a horrible thing. I
Yeah.
don't, me personally, I've never seen a positive to it, but a lot of people use alcohol and getting drunk as a way to kind of remove themselves from the position that they're in. So,
Yeah.
like, if they're really stressed out, if they're really sad, they'll use that as their coping mechanism. But there's so many much stronger, much longer lasting coping mechanisms than something like getting drunk.
I love it.
So everything that you see in the Bible, it's not just a rule book. There's real life merit behind those rules that you could call it.
Yeah. Can people have a good time and experience the true joys of life without the premarital sex, without the drugs, without the alcohol, without the other things that we have been told in culture are fun? Do you need to go to a keg party, right? Do you need to be out in the middle of the woods somewhere or in some open space or whatever, whatnot, doing God knows what? Can we really enjoy life? Is life really enjoyable as a believer, or am I stiff and cautious and careful and all that? Talk about that.
So yeah, before I would have joined Christianity, became a follower of Christ, I would have thought that, being a believer, like you said, it's stiff. It's strict. You can't have fun. You're basically, and like I said, I wasn't even doing most of the things that, you're not supposed to do. But I still thought like, man, this can't be fun. Like, and I would also see like the people that grew up in the church and how I was very different from them. So I thought,
Mm,
well, one, I wouldn't be accepted there because I'm different. I talk different, even if it's just a little bit. My lingo's different. The way my mannerisms are different. The way I handle respect and disrespect is different. But obviously, a lot of that changed with growth. But man, when I say, and this is like Bible study has become my night out, and I love it. It's like,
love it.
in Bible study last year was on a Thursday, so it was perfect because I would have Bible study, and then I watched Thursday night football, and like Thursday became my favorite day of the week, better than any other day. Like Friday, you get the weekend to come up.
Yeah.
Nah, man, I wanted Thursday every day. Now Bible studies on Tuesday and Thursday,
Okay.
so it's like a double whammy there. And so yeah, there's a new Bible study that I joined, a young adults one at my church. And like I said, especially the younger crowd that grew up in the church, I really didn't think I'd be like accepted by them. I didn't think that they would, have anything in common with me. I didn't think that they would love football like I love football. I didn't think it. I thought they're gonna go here and talk about Jesus, and I'm gonna say something wrong, and they're gonna clown me or they're gonna make fun of me or
Right.
kick me out.
Right.
But really, we talked about Jesus, then we talked about the UFC, then we talked about football. And I was like, and I was at the Bible study for the first time last week. It was a new one I went to.
Yeah.
And it started at 6:30, supposed to end around 7:30, 8 p.m. I was there till like 10 p.m.
Mm.
We was playing card games, talking about all the sports and watching football and stuff. It was
Love
like
it, man. Yeah.
everything that I thought that would be negative. And I'm not saying that there's people that, unfortunately there is people in the church that might judge you. Um, but all the thoughts that I had, before I joined a group or before I looked at people or before I tried to insert myself into this community
Yeah.
were very, very wrong. And I have way more fun nowadays. I still get to play my video games. I'll play video games with believers now. I still get to, play card games. I get to play card games with people that are like-minded now. And we
Yeah.
we don't just play card games. We could play card games and we could talk about something that's real and that could grow us and not just something that's, of this world.
Yeah. Man, I love it. Um, I appreciate your answers. You've been very open, very candid, very honest. Plus, just for so you guys know, I really kind of put him on the spot. I was vetting him to see what we would talk about, and then I just felt in the moment, I was like, no, let's go ahead and record now. I had a few minutes, and I wanted to do that now. But he and I we're gonna wrap up here, and I want to give you this final question. So as I had alluded to, man, I started looking at more, or you started posting more, I should say, of your TikTok.
Mhm.
You started posting more because I think
Yeah.
you were already connected, but you started posting more on your
Mhm.
TikToks. And I'll be totally honest with you. I was like, man, Brett is over here dropping some nuggets. Like this is good stuff. This is incredible. It was on point. Um, why now?
So Dion, my goals, I love content creation ever since I was young. So my goals has always been in some way, be a content creator, create something that people could take in. And so like occasionally on TikTok especially, I wasn't very active. I would post like occasionally some video game or something or maybe some pictures or me and my girlfriend. But I talk with him. Um and honestly, Jesus is what I love the most. And it's not just like video games. A new game comes out, I play it for a month or two, and I love it during that month, and then the next game comes out and I switch it. But Jesus is
Right.
everlasting.
Yeah.
So making videos about Jesus, it's like a win-win because I get to make videos I love doing, I've always loved doing.
Love it.
And the topic never has to change because, like I said, Jesus is everlasting, and Jesus is
Amen.
always gonna be number one for me. So
Amen.
it
Amen to
just
that.
it was like a perfect collision or whatever they call it.
I love it, man. So tell people where they can actually, what's your TikTok name on there? How can they find you?
Oh man, I think it's solely Brett 21. I'm not even
Okay.
100% sure. I know it's
Okay.
solely Brett something. SULLYBRETT.
It's Sully Brett something. Let's
Yep.
see. I'll tell them. Yes, it's Sully Brett 21. That's where you can find him. And listen, I really do want you to follow him. Um, I'm constantly trying to push people to people who I believe can help them. And I believe that Brett can. You already heard from him. You heard just a portion even of his story. I'm sure he has more. But I like to do these, get in, get out, make them quick, just kind of give you a taste of what it is. But um, Brett's doing the work right now. And I want to encourage you. He actually asked me a question yesterday which again, I love these kind of questions. I didn't get a chance to get back to him until later because I had two podcasts that I had to do. my own two podcasts that I was filming for, and then I teach Bible study on Wednesday nights, which I'll tell you about here in just a moment. But he had asked me, do you think that Christians can lose their salvation? These are kind of questions that I think are really important for us to ask as believers, and that if you have this question, you should be able to ask it. You should be able to get the answer to that too, at least the best answer possible for it, and be able to walk away with something that's meaningful for you. So, Brett, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and just share what God is doing in your heart and your life. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for what's ahead for you and in this journey. My journey with God, man, you know, again, I grew up in church my whole life. When I turned 16, though, I went down a whole different path until I was 21. I was like, man, I'm gonna do me. I appreciate Jesus, but I'm gonna do me. And in
Mm.
that, I found some really challenging and difficult scenarios and situations, man, which I wouldn't wish on anybody. And so, my encouragement to you, if you watched us all the way through, which I hope you did, or you're just seeing a clip of this, or you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, I just want to encourage you. Um, don't give Jesus a try. Go all the way in, just like you would do anything else that you did. So if you're out there, you went all the way in, you didn't say, I just want to try this and see. Nope, you went all the way in. And so I want to encourage you to do the same. Go all the way in, investigate it, tear it down, ask the hard questions, find out what you need to know. And if you can't get somebody to answer those hard questions for you, reach back out to somebody like myself. I'll do my very best, or find somebody else in your local community who can answer the questions that you have about Jesus, because you deserve to have those answers and your questions are valid, whatever they might be. And so do that. But I'm grateful for Brett and excited about what's next for him. For those of you who are connected with me, again, all of my social media links will be in the bottom of this video and or on this podcast. Either way, but I also want to encourage you. Also, every Wednesday night, I started March 17th of this year. We started the Belonging Life Bible Study. It's virtual. So that means that you get to simply log on 7 p.m., which is PST right now, Pacific Standard Time. It changes the MST when time zones change. Arizona never changes. We stay the same. But I want to encourage you, log in, come hang out with us. We just got done with What is the Gospel last night after 3 weeks of studying that. But I spent all of March, all the way till the end of September. We looked into the book of Genesis. This coming week, I'm going to answer a question, a hard question, because the Bible talks to us about lament. And I know this is one of the things that we don't like to talk about, but lament is something that we go through as believers. It's just a part of living. You go through some challenging situations, and it doesn't mean that Jesus abandoned you or that he doesn't love you. It just means that we'll go through these things, and I'm going to point that out in this coming week. But I want to encourage you to log on to that. I do not record them. I've been asked to, and there's a specific reason for that. And I'll tell you, it's because I believe that when you just record them, it gives people a reason not to actually show up. But what I'd like for people to do is be involved in the community so that you can grow with the community and ask the questions in real time with the other people that are in the community asking the questions as well. Okay? So, with that being said, appreciate you all. And again, don't forget, Belonging Life is growing. We're expanding. We're going to start having new information that's available for you. I'm going to have other speakers that are going to be available for you, as well as other content that's going to be available for you, because our whole goal is for you as a believer to expand in business and life and marriage and parenting and all that you do. It's a holistic approach to your Christianity. So appreciate y'all. Many blessings.